Okay, I'll quickly talk about what is Guidewire, and then let's move on to the agenda of the training plan. Hope you guys are able to see my screen. So what is Guidewire? Okay, so so basically Guidewire is a PNC insurance product. So what is PNC? Is a property and casualty insurance, right? So in order to understand very simply, it's not a life insurance, okay, or it is not a general insurance. It's kind of a insurancing your particular property. So for example, and casualty also. So mainly for a easy understanding, you can consider as a insurance, getting the insurance for your vehicle, okay, like a car insurance, right? So for that, in insurance is a very huge market, right? Across Europe or even in US or any countries, next to banking sector, insurance is the very big sector, right? So 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 why do we need a Guidewire product? So the purpose of the product is, uh, so when if you think I'm the insurance company, I need to launch my product, launch my insurance product to the market, then I have to have maintain my own application with my own IT department, right? So the cost of creating and maintaining the application is going to be huge. Okay, that is where Guidewire or Duck Creek or any other product is coming into picture, saying that okay, so in order to run the insurance related business for any insurance company, this product is having all the features readily available. So with the help of the Guidewire configurations, Guidewire developers, it can be easily configurable or customizable for any particular insurance company. So what's the difference is, instead of the insurance company spending 12 months to 2 years of time frame to develop a new project, and then maintain the project, maintain the infrastructures, Guidewire is coming and telling that okay, I have everything, you may need to spend only half of the time to configure specific to your business rules or your business needs, then we can easily go to the market in a faster time frame. Okay, so that's the purpose of the product, right? So majorly, there are three different products Guidewire is offering. One is Policy Center, Claim Center, and Billing Center. So Policy Center is, the purpose of Policy Center is to create the policies. Okay, so create and maintain the policies. Whereas Claim Center is to process the claims, and Billing Center is to maintain the invoices related to the policies. Okay, that's at very high level. So these are all also like kind of a backend systems only. It's not like a front end. So when I say not a front end, it's not going to be accessed by the end user. Like if you want to get a policy, you will call the customer care, or you will make a call to the agent, and agent or the customer care representative will normally log into the Guidewire application and they will issue the policy. Okay, so you will not have access to Guidewire application. So Guidewire application is kind of admin system, admin or backend system, where the backend users will have access and they will be able to log into the application and do all the things. Okay. But Guidewire is leading in the market. Okay, compared to their competitive products, Guidewire is actually leading in the global market. The major reason why they are leading is they provide a lot of out of the box functionalities. What is out of the box functionality means? Out of the box means it is a pre-built functionalities. Okay. Um, um, so and in addition to that, they provide all the out of the box APIs also. Like in this new age era, we everybody wanted to see their policies, or they wanted to do the policy change, or all those transactions has to be happening in their mobile application itself, right? So in order to do that one, for the mobile app has to be a different application, but the backend is, since the backend is Guidewire, it has to be communicated via any of the APIs, right? So the out of the box APIs or the web services are available, so that it can be easily interact with the front end application, like a policy detail service or quote and buy service. So those concepts are easily configurable. So that is also one of the major reasons why Guidewire is leading in the market. So let's not get into the architecture, or in simple terms. Okay, there are four models. Okay, so in each center, okay, claim center, policy center, billing center, right? So that is nothing but you can divide that into the 4 different modules. One is the data model, user interface architecture, and application logic and integration mechanisms, right? So here, if you see the base concept of all these things are same. Okay, so if you know policy center application very well, and if you want to switch from policy center to claim center, the only two different things you need to understand is what is the business logic or the application logic specific to claim center, and based on that the data model will be driven. Data model is nothing but the tables. Okay, so here in Guidewire terms we call it as a entities or type list. Okay, so those entities and type list, that is called as data model. The data model structure is going to be different for each center. Claim center, it is going to be the claim entity. Policy center, it will be a policy entity, policy period entity. So those will be different. So only that you need to understand. Otherwise everything will be how to work like any other languages, right? So to work with one product, you will be able to work in other product also with some minimal additional effort. Okay, so our training is mainly we are planning for a policy center application, right? So the purpose of policy center is to do all these transactions or the life cycle of the policy. So what is submission, what is policy change? I'll just quickly tell for 1 or 2 minutes. So submission is nothing but a quotation. Okay, so if I am the if I have my vehicle and I wanted to insure my car, then what I will do is I'll call the customer care or I'll reach out to any agent, and then I will be telling that, okay, this is my first name, last name, this is my date of birth, this is my license number, and this is my vehicle registration number or vehicle identification number, and give me a policy for a 1 year policy. Okay, so that then he will be entering keying in all the data, and then he'll be telling the premium, right? That is called as quotation. So in normal we get a quotation for anything, right? So for policy also we'll get the quotation. In a term, in Guidewire term, we call it as a submission transaction. Okay, it is still not a policy. Once the customer once the customer is satisfied with the premium, then the customer will be telling, okay, I wanted to create a policy. That means the submission transaction is going to get converted into a policy. Okay, so once a policy is created at any point of time, so when the policy is created means, so between the effective date and expiration date, the 12 months, if it is a 1 year policy and I'm buying it effective from Jan 1st, so then Jan 1st to December 31st, that's a 12 months, I can raise any number of claims, right? Because basically I have active policy, I have insured my vehicle. So if any accident or any loss happens to my vehicle, I can legally raise a claim, and then if it is legit, then the claim is going to get processed. That's the whole purpose of insurance, right? So similarly, once a policy is about to expire, then automatically I can renew the policy for another 1 year. Okay, so that is called as renewal transaction. Okay, that's the renewal transaction. If you don't renew the policy, then automatically your policy will get expired. The life cycle of the policy will get end. Similarly, if you want to in the during this active term, either in the policy term or the renewal term, whenever the policy is active, if you wanted to add a new driver, or you are shifting to different location, you want to modify your address, you want to change your address, or the person is getting married, he wanted to add his spouse to the policy, or replace the vehicle or add another vehicle to the policy, all these changes, right? So those transaction is called as policy changes. Okay, so the change transaction also can be done. Similarly, any question?
Yeah, so changes the transaction name is changes here, or
Policy
I mean,
change. Policy
okay,
change.
policy change, not
Policy change.
endorsement.
No, not endorsement. The meaning
Okay.
of endorsement is also same, but the transaction name we call it here as a policy change.
Okay, and the submission is same as the bound transaction. I mean,
No, not bound. Submission is a draft
quote.
transaction.
Okay, it is a quote.
Either, yeah, yes, it is a quote.
Okay. Okay.
So once it is bound, then we call it as a policy.
Okay.
Once submission is bound, then it will become a policy.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, at any point of time, if during this between this Jan to December, okay, I have a travel plan. I'm going to be, due to my business, I'm not going to be in the country for next 3 to 6 months. Then I don't want to pay the premium because nobody is going to use my vehicle, right? So I can call the customer care, and then I can tell that I don't want to continue the policy. You can cancel my policy. So any point of time, the policy can be cancelled. So that transaction is called as cancellation transaction. But there are cases you cancel it. For example, today is January, right? So today is Jan 17th. I have a travel plan from April. So I called now itself and told the customer care initiate the cancellation transaction effective from March 31st or something. So they cancelled it. Then during the month of February, I realized that I'm not going to travel. So I have to be in the country. I need to have a valid insurance to operate my vehicle. So then I'll call the customer care and I will tell that, okay, so I'm going to, I mean, I want to reinstate my policy. Okay. So then the only condition for cancellation and reinstatement is if I cancel the policy on some particular date, the reinstatement also should happen on the same date. There shouldn't be any lapse. For example, I cancelled effective April 1st, then I should not be calling the customer care and telling reinstate on April 2nd or April 3rd. That's not possible. So April 1st means I should call the customer care on or before, mostly before April 1st and tell that, okay, please reinstate the policy. Okay, so only then you can reinstate. If this case is happening, okay, you are calling the customer care on April 2nd or 3rd and then telling that I want to have the policy, the reinstatement option will not be available. Then you have to go for a rewrite option. Rewrite option is basically you have to rewrite the entire transaction. Okay, so we'll see all these transaction in detail. Okay, while during the training, but at very high level, this is the definition of each transaction, and the whole policy center application is built to support these transactions. There are so many topics to learn, but end of the day, all these topics were designed to support these transactions because that's the purpose of policy center application. I'll just quickly show the application also. So this is the Guidewire Policy Center application. You can log in with your credential SUGW. SU represents super user. So once you log into the application,
We can't see your screen actually.
oh, okay.
You can only see the old screen.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sharing that. Okay. Are you able to see now the browser?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. So this is the Guidewire Policy Center application. So this will be the URL. So once the training started, you will also have access to the entire application. And then the user ID will be SU super user and the password will be GW.
Is this a standalone application?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So this is the whole application. So we have the account policy, so search and all these things, right? So this is where we will create a new account and the submission transaction also. Once the account is created, you will be able to create the new submission. So I'm basically this whole diagram, right? So you have to first create a submission, and once a submission is created, the policy will be available. Once the policy is available, you will be able to do all these transactions. Okay, so this is the account. You can go to the action, new submission. And these are all the available products. So throughout the training, I'll be taking the personal auto product as the example so that it will be easy to understand all the other concepts, so the complex concepts. So I'm just selecting that product. So these are all the different screens. So basically, we have to enter the offerings. I'm not going to explain anything now, but there are separate classes for each screen and each functionality. So we will see that in detail. I mean, basically, you need to enter all the data with all the driver details, vehicle details, and choose the coverage. Then you will get the premium, and you will be able to issue the policy. Okay, so that's the whole idea. So now I'll just quickly. Okay. So if you see, I hope you are able to see the training schedule. So So there are 4 weeks of training. Okay, so how we have split up is first week is for fundamentals, and second and third week is for configuration basics and configuration essential, and fourth week is for the integration. So in Guidewire there are actually two tracks. Okay, one is configuration and integration. Okay, if people are going to work on a development project like a implementation project, then there will be a separate team called configuration team and integration team. And there is no, I mean, it's not expected that configuration team, configuration developer must know the integration concept and vice versa. But if you are getting deployed into a maintenance project or kind of a production support project, so most of the work will be on the configuration side, because all the integration would have been already developed. So the expectations will be like, okay, configuration developer might know a little about integrations, because it's the work is going to be very minimal on the integration area, and then you just need to know how the integration framework works, and then if you need to debug something, or if you need to add one new extra tag to the existing XML or JSON, then you must be knowing it. So that's the reason our training includes both tracks, configuration and integration. um, so every day it is going to be a 1 hour session. Mostly it will be morning IST time, but it depends upon everyone's availability. We can fix the timing, but 1 hour, 1 hour is the training. And how it will be like, for example, let's talk about the first week. So first week, first first day, it will be introduction. It's not today, it will be once the training, once the batch is confirmed, there will be a detailed introduction about Guidewire and what are all the different policy transaction, and we will be doing the policy transaction also in the application and everything. And the second day, you see, it is a technical fundamental. So what is data model, what is entity, what is type list, what is super type entity, what is subtype entity, how you can create a data model. All those things will be taken care in the second day session. And third day session is basically how to modify the existing screen. Okay, so if you want to add we call it as a PCF, page configuration files. Okay, so that is where all the screen level changes third day. For example, if you wanted to modify something over here, this is the account screen, right? So you wanted to add a new field over here. So how to do that is basically you press Alt Shift I. So it will list down all the file names from where this page is actually currently getting rendered. Okay, so you can copy this file, go to the studio. Studio is where the actual code base is there. So you will get access to the studio as well. So you can Control Shift and paste the file name. You see here, right? Account file summary.pcf. So just open it. Okay. So this is exactly actually what you are seeing: account number, account holder, all those stuff, right? Account number, account holder, current activities, policy terms. So this is what you are actually seeing it on the screen. So if you wanted to add a new field over here, you have to drag and drop it here, and then you need to modify it. So there are a few steps which we need to do. So that's what that basics will be covered over here in the UI architecture. And then once everybody has made a payment, then Ravi will help you to do the application setup in your laptop. So you will get access to the studio as well as to the application, and how to, then I'll be giving the walkthrough of how to start the server, how to debug it in your studio. The studio. So basically, the initial setup will be done, and then all the walkthrough will be given. How to start the server, how to load the sample data, how you can create your own policies. All this will be taken care during this session. So the first week is basically setting up the fundamentals. Okay, so the key concept or the heart of the Guidewire is these two topics: data model and UI architecture. We will be covering that also in below, but this is like a very fundamental things which will be covered in the very first week, right? Then second and third week is about the configuration basics. Okay, so it's not like you are learning about any other new languages. Okay, so learning a Python or learning a Java, it's not same like learning Guidewire product. Okay, so let's so some people will get so much confused Why are we learning so many concepts and the steps to implement instead of learning the coding? Okay, so if you imagine I'm the project manager of a Guidewire project, okay, so and you are coming for my project. When I'm interviewing you, I'm not going to ask, okay, how you are going to write the switch case, how you will be writing a for loop conditions. What I'll be asking is, do you know how to configure a coverages in a Guidewire product? Do you know how to configure a forms in a coverage in a Guidewire product? Because all I need to know before selecting somebody to my project is whether this guy has a Guidewire experience, the product experience, because that's the actually that is the key thing over here instead of a just writing the programming language code, right? Because that's basically Java. If you know Java, you will be able to write the Gosu language. Gosu is the language which you will be writing it here, but it is pretty much, I would say 90% same as Java. There are very few additional syntaxes are there. That is also, if you want, you can use it. You can still write in a Java syntax also. It will accept all the syntaxes. So, so again, configuration basics, we will be discussing in detail about the policy transaction. Whatever was not covered in the previous fundamentals week about the policy transaction, that will be covered over here, like out of sequence transaction, what is out of sequence, what is preemptive transaction. There are some complex transactions also there, so that will be covered here. And the basics about product model, policy line. Product model is a separate tool, okay, which is accessible only for the developer to configure a new product. Okay, so it's something like, okay, how to configure a new coverage, all those things will be taken care over here in this second week. And how to configure a user, how to configure forms, what is custom inference form, how to configure a documents, all these things. And everyday session, right, starting from fundamentals, I'll be doing the hands-on on the during the class itself. Okay, so the expectation is, while I'm doing the hands-on, it will be recorded and then it will be given to you on the same day. You have to try it on your own, and then in the next day you have to ask me the questions. Okay, if you have any questions in terms of completing the hands-on. Okay, so even if it is not possible to ask, or if you are not able to do it on daily basis, the Friday is actually reserved for the hands-on review. So Friday, either you can ask me to do more hands-on, something like, okay, you did not understand this particular topic, you want to ask me to do, I mean, you want me to do something additional, then I will be able to do that. Or if you want to show something, sharing your screen, and then you wanted to ask question, that also can be done. So the Friday is reserved for the hands-on review. And similarly, the third week is also same thing. Here we are actually deep diving into the configuration complex topics like a policy center data model. So we have seen the data model basics right here. Then here we are seeing the policy center core entities. What is the relationship between policy entity, policy period entity, job entity, all those things we will be seeing it here. Okay, so similarly, this is also the UI architecture concept. So whatever we have seen in the fundamentals, it's kind of an extension of that topic with little complex details and other underwriting issues. What is underwriting issues? How to create a validation classes, permission configuration, activity configurations, all those things. We will be seeing it here. So again, same thing, product model related, product model availability, question set, all those things, and then the hands-on review is there on the Friday, and then we'll move on to the integration. So here you see that Gosu for integration or Gosu queries and bundles and transaction, right? This is only this topic is actually not very specific to integration. It is common for config and integ. So typically what I will be doing is only this topic I'll be taking either in the first beginning of the third week, so that all other the validation classes and UW issues, triggering logic and all, we need to know the Gosu. So that will be covered little early in the training plan. Otherwise, how to publish a new REST web service, how to consume a REST web service, how to consume a SOAP web service, how to trigger the messaging logic, how to create a custom batch process. All those integration topics will be covered in the fourth week of the training. And similarly, the last day is the hands-on review. So in addition to the regular hands-on, which I am doing, I'll be doing the use cases also. So this is some of the use cases, like For example, create a tab in the driver screen to capture the accident details with the following information. So this is a real-time story, user story. So this is your requirement. Okay, so in order to create a new screen, what you have to do, all the steps will also be documented here. I'll be sharing it. I'll be doing it also. And then I'll be sharing this information with you. Both the recordings will be available while I'm explaining it to you. And then this document also I'll be sharing it to you so that you can actually try on your own. And this is kind of a use case where you can do the end-to-end concept. It's not like one single concept. It includes how to create the new entity and how to create the new page and then how to include the page into the existing screen. Okay, so that means it is kind of a end-to-end. And then when you are attending the interview also, you will be able to give this real-time example what you have done in Guidewire. So you can just take this example and explain it as a user story. Not only this, even for the integration or everything, you will have a user story, how to publish a REST API. So all these steps will be clearly given. So you will be able to explain it on your own. And even for the learning purpose also, it will be really helpful. Yeah, that's the whole plan. Any questions, guys?
So what are the prerequisites for to learn this
If you
Guidewire?
if you know any programming language, it will be okay. Okay, in order to be good at a developer, any Java or anything, then it is fine. If you don't know, then it will be little difficult because this will be your first learning. But other than that, there is nothing.
Okay. So
So
OOPS concepts are enough, right?
Yes, basic oops are enough.
Okay.
So what is the scope of this tool?
Can you come again? What was that?
What is the scope of this tool?
Scope of the?
Scope of this tool.
So
Placement.
this, you mean what is the scope of the Guidewire? Was that your question?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is actually a product. It's not a tool. So it is a product. It's been used by the insurance industry. So the agents and the insurance companies are using this to create the policies.
Okay.
what is rating means?
Rating. So right now, rating is actually not included. The reason is, if it is an implementation project, rating team will be a different team. Okay, so it won't be covered under the config. But if it is really needed, I can just give a overview of about the Guidewire rating.
Okay. Uh, so Guidewire ratings are not done by the policy developer.
Mostly, it is done by the policy center developer, but it will be like one person will be completely dedicated for the rating stories.
Okay.
Okay, so that person will not be working on all other configuration topics which we are seeing here, right? So that
Okay.
person will not be aware of all these things. So the expectation is also rating will be person will be working only on the rating, and other configuration concepts will be worked by the other config developers. So it normally it won't get overlapped.
And do you need to have a Java means Java language means is it mandatory to learn Java before
No.
into the
Do you
Guidewire?
know any other language? I mean, in so you have the quick development experience, right?
Also, Ducklick development it is best, yeah, but means I can understand the .NET code part, but we never do coding in the .NET. So most of the things are through the tool and studio.
Yeah.
And,
Basic any
and
language should be
output
fine.
is
It's
in
not.
the
Mhm.
XML. So sometimes we write some XSLT and all, but no coding actually. We
Yeah.
have not done any coding.
Then it is fine.
Integrate.
So I understand. So here also it will be very similar. Okay, so you see if you are going to work on a configuration track, it's not going to be a more coding. It's going to be very less coding. But oops
Mostly in
concept.
the integration part, when someone write the CBO and all, then that time we usually write the
So here
uh,
also it is exactly same. That's why you see the Gosu basics also.
okay,
It's been included in the integration side.
okay,
Right. So integration will have more and more coding, whereas configuration will have very less because it is since it is a product, everything will be on the XML.
For policy center certification, do we need? I know we need to have some means register for the policy center certification. I just want to know the means what the in that certification it will be covered.
So
Is it
this
like we
whole,
need?
yeah, the curriculum you are seeing here, right? So it is actually basically from the Guidewire education portal for the
So
policy centers. It
is it
is
like yes no question, or it is like application? I mean create the whole application
in the
guidewire.
certification you are asking, right? In the
That
certification, it is going to be the objective type questions only.
okay. I mean yes no answer question.
Yes, it's not simple yes no. It's like choose the best answer, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Not like creating the entire
No, no,
product
no,
like
no, no.
okay. Okay.
Any other questions,
Hi.
guys?
Yeah, hi. And like, how will be the openings and non-openings right now?
You mean you are asking how good the Guidewire opportunities are outside?
Mm, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, even Guidewire market is always good. Okay. So even during the I think now the market is okay. I think at least before 6 months and all, overall market was not good. But at that time also there were a lot of openings available for Guidewire. And Guidewire is actually keep upgrading, keep releasing their latest versions every 4 months once. So in that way, the market is actually really good, both within India and outside India also.